Thank you very much, Rudon. First of all, let me say how happy I am to be here in St. Michael East with my fellow colleague and candidate, Kenny Best, who I know has been working very hard today with his team, and I want to thank all of you here who have been working with him. I know you're going to be successful. Keep up the good work, and I urge you to give your 100% support to the effort that Kenny is making this time. We thought that it would be appropriate to come here to St. Michael East today as we be moving throughout Barbados to different constituencies, basically to outline some of the plans and proposals of the Democratic Labour Party, many of which will form part of the core of the manifesto. But we take these opportunities to explain those policies in more detail so that members of the media might have the opportunity to ask questions or perhaps flesh out some of these issues. We take comfort in the widespread view among public servants that it is always easier for them to work under a Democratic Labour Party government than under a Barbados Labour Party government. And the reason is clear, because we respect some public servants as highly trained individuals who are essentially there to give competent advice to the government and also to give effect to the policies that the members of cabinet and also based on the passage of legislation essentially give to them to implement. We do not believe in interfering in the public service, and we do not believe in micromanaging. We believe that efficiency can be achieved with the intelligence, the ability and the skills of our public officers, and that our job is to get greater productivity, better service for members of the public, and that we can make our public officers themselves feel that they are truly making a contribution to national development. There's no worker in Barbados, wherever you work, who does not want to get some satisfaction out of what they're doing, who does not want to be able to rise to the top of their profession, who does not want to feel that certainly doesn't want to feel that they're not being appreciated. Perhaps I should put it the other way, want to feel they are being appreciated, want their conditions of work to be reflective of that appreciation. And right close here recently we discovered that there were actually public workers who had been housed and working in an animal pen in Barbados. There are police stations in Barbados which are in a terrible state of disrepair. There are several government buildings in this country in which public officers face health threats. And we believe that all of these are things that we have to address. But in addition to that, we feel very strongly that you also have to provide an environment for workers, including public officers, that affords them the opportunity to do their work while feeling that the state has provided adequate resources for their family. And by that I mean, for example, that when public officers are at work, particularly single parent mothers, that their children can have adequate daycare facilities provided, which will make them more comfortable in their own working environment. And where possible, that those daycare facilities should be provided as close to where those public officers work as is possible. But let me give you a summary of some of the proposals that we have relative to the public service. We believe it is important to develop and implement a human resource policy for the public service and to implement a service-wide public service training policy, which will see, among other things, and most importantly, the establishment of a public service training college, which will offer programs to meet the qualification requirements for public officers. We also believe that we should review the results of the last job classification exercise which created a lot of anomalies in itself and a lot of dissatisfaction among public officers in Barbados. We believe that the chairman of the Public Service Commission should be a full-time individual, and that the Public Service Commission should function effectively in the management of the public service and the human resources of the public service. We also believe that there should be a full-time legal officer to give advice to the Public Service Commission on legal issues related to the terms and conditions of service on public offices. We feel there are a number of individual offices that need to be renamed and retooled, like the Data Processing Department, such that it would become a central information technology facility for the government of Barbados. And we believe very strongly that public sector reform should be given leadership, and the ministry should be placed in the top tiers of a new Democratic Labour Party government as an area that will be given priority. And the reason why I say this is because we've heard a lot of talk about public sector reform since 1994, but public servants are not really able to say that that public sector reform has touched and benefited them in any significant way. But more importantly, the public is not able to say that they've seen the results of this public sector reform in terms of Barbados in the year 2007. We believe also that there should be new options within the pension plans for public officers, which will allow a better provision to be made for their surviving spouses, where that spouse dies either before or after retirement. And we also believe very strongly in the introduction of a pilot project providing daycare facilities for the children of public officers, particularly in places where they work. And we hope that can be replicated across the private sector in Barbados, because we believe that providing daycare facilities in communities but also at places of work can produce positive results in terms of productivity and an improvement in the feeling of satisfaction of public workers.